Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Sec here. Today's February 27th, 2016. The major headline today is how well Hillary Clinton has done in the Democratic primary in South Carolina, defeating her opponent by nearly 50 percentage points, Bernie Sanders. The mainstream media is in consensus right now saying Hillary has all but wrapped up the Democratic nomination and she is likely to be the presidential candidate for the Democratic Party. For those who follow politics, who've been following the race, this news comes as no surprise. It seemed that since the beginning, it has been in the bag for Hillary and the Democratic Party. In this video, what I want to talk about is the political dynasty that is the Clinton family, which actually is a dynasty dating back to the beginning of this nation, where the Clintons were the original governors of New York, and George Clinton was also the fourth vice president to James Madison. Of course, Hillary herself has been a senator in New York, where the Clinton dynasty hails from. Just to go back in history, in case you've forgotten this story, it's from 2008 when when Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton were both running to be the Democratic nominee. There was a story of how they were to appear in the media, but seemingly vanished. They didn't show up for their media time. And days later, it came out that they had disappeared to a nearby Bilderberg conference, the annual meeting of global elites in banking, industry, media, and government. I suspect that what happened at this meeting is Barack Obama was told he would be the next president, and Hillary Clinton was told she would be the president to follow. That is what I've always assumed from 2008, and I suspect that is still true today. If you're new here, I talk a lot about numerology and gematria, and the only reason I talk about those skills is because I have become aware that the mainstream media uses them and taunts their audience with them. I only became aware of this after more than a decade of reading mainstream media publications, watching mainstream media news, and seeing the same numbers put before my eyes, and so much emphasis on numbers without being aware of what it was all about. So anyhow, let's use tonight's headline as an example. I have done this countless times before. If you learn this language of gematria, you learn that they are coding numbers of significance into the words put before our eyes. This headline, Clinton crushes SC for South Carolina, has gematria of 67. And last May, I did a video on Hillary Clinton and this Time Magazine article showing how it was a major clue that Hillary might very well be the next president. Notice that female in Jewish gematria equals 67, syncing up with the gematria coded in to the headline. Time Magazine last spring, April 3rd, 2015, put out the headline, at 67, Hillary Clinton is now a woman of a certain age. So much emphasis and worry are put on physical aging in women that the emotional maturity and freedom that can come at this time are given short shrift. That robs everyone of a great natural resource. For women of a certain age, it is our time to lead. The new standard for aging women should be about vitality, strength, and assertiveness. So anyhow, this article is saying because Hillary's post-menopause, because she's 67, she is the perfect age to run for president and be president. And again, 67 is this number that connects to women. And if you think it's coincidence, check this out. International Women's Day, a real day that's recognized every year on the calendar, is on March 8th, which is the 67th day of the year. Woman equals 67 in Jewish gematria. International Women's Day, the 67th day of the year. Hillary was 67 when she announced her campaign. Time Magazine said she was the perfect age to be president. And I want to show you something about perfect and Hillary Clinton. Perfect and Hillary Clinton have the same gematria, truth seeker. So I think just more coding within the story. With regards to 73, if Hillary is to become the next president, she will take office at age 69, and at the end of her first term, she will be 73 years old. So if she does become the next president, when she's running for office again, she'll be 73. Interesting to think about. So next, this is what I want to talk about, the history of Bill Clinton and how he got the name. First, notice that Hillary Rodham Clinton was born in Chicago, Illinois, which is a Zionist Masonic Mecca, a place I talk about often. Right now, the mayor of Chicago is Ram Israel Emanuel, who's born on the date that Israel was recognized as a nation. I have a video on him, and I have several videos of the heavy Zionism influence in Chicago. The Zionist meccas of this nation are New York and Chicago. Again, Hillary also has been New York, where the Clinton dynasty hails from. Now, with regards to Bill Clinton, he was not born Bill Clinton. He was born William Jefferson Blythe III. He was born to Bill Blythe Jr. His father died on a business trip returning to Arkansas from Chicago. He was found dead on the side of the highway near his own car. His body was submerged in 3 feet of water on the side of the road. The police ruled it an accident, nothing suspicious. The day he died is very suspicious for these reasons, Truth Seeker. May 17th, 1946 is a date with 33 numerology. Now, Clinton in Gematria, the small way and the big way, sums to 33 the small way, 87 the big way. The date he died on was a date with 33 numerology, and it was also a date with 87 numerology. Numerology perfectly corresponding with the Gematria of Clinton. Also, May 17th is the 137th day of the year, which is the 33rd prime number. Again, Clinton equals 33. Also, our nation, the federal government is headquartered in Washington, D.C., which has gematria of 137, just like the word authority. And think about it being the headquarters of the federal government. Federal has this gematria of 33. As I have shown many times before, this nation was created by Freemasons, and they coded much of our history with these numbers, establishing states by the numbers, passing the Bill of Rights by the numbers, the flag by the numbers. So much of our nation's history by these very Masonic numbers, 33, again and again. Notice that the father was born in Sherman, Texas. It makes me wonder if this father is even a real person. Sherman also has the gematria of 33. So often, these presidential candidates, these people in high places, if you research their backgrounds, they lost their father at a very young age. And their backgrounds, their upbringing is often murky and unclear. It makes me wonder what is really going on with these candidates. It almost makes me wonder if children are targeted at a young age for a certain reason and bred to be future leaders, such as presidents, governors, politicians, CEOs, etc. There's a major theme of this. People in high places who lost their parents, or at least one of their parents, at a young age. Another recent headline, Hillary Clinton won the primary in Nevada. Clinton wins Nevada. They code it with gematria of 73 for Hillary Clinton. As I pointed out earlier this year, the first Republican debate was in Ohio, and the first Democratic debate was in Nevada. And Ohio and Nevada are the only two states with 47 gematria. 47 is the number that corresponds with president. Show you this real quick. President equals 47. Only Ohio and Nevada, got to spell it right though. Ohio, 47, Nevada, 47. No other states with the 47 gematria. Again, the sites of the first Democratic and first Republican debates. This is operating by the numbers. This is how the Masons do it. I can't tell you the full reason of why they operate this way, But by studying history and applying this numerical language, it leaves zero doubt that this is how they've always executed their agenda. Very simply, you could say it boils down to ritual. As a people, we're very ritualistic. Ritualistic in our holidays, our calendars. For those of you who say, I don't get why they do it, so it doesn't matter to me, that's not a healthy way to think about it. Think about how many things you do in this world that you don't know why you do it. Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, where did this stuff come from? You don't know why, you just know it is. And the same is true of this numerology and gematria. You study it, you see how it's been applied, you realize this is a very real language, a very real applied language, and by paying attention to it, you can figure out what's to come. That's why last May I was doing videos saying it really seems like it's all lined up for Hillary. What else I've been saying in the time of the Republican debates is it seems that what's going on in the Republican Party, remember how not long ago there were nearly 20 Republicans debating to be president. They were having 2 debates, about 10 people on the stage at a time. And what were they doing with each other? Mostly fighting, arguing, bickering, and talking about Donald Trump as if he was the most important issue in the nation. To me, it seemed like they've purposefully put up a gang of stooges to fight with themselves for the sake of Hillary Clinton. Meanwhile, in the Democratic camp, there haven't been many candidates, and really it's just been Hillary getting the attention and also Bernie Sanders. But I think Bernie Sanders was the perfect candidate for them to run against her to create the kind of image they want. As we've seen in the debates, Bernie Sanders will speak truth to power, which he often does on issues. And yes, I realize as I say that, he is a controlled candidate. He is part of the establishment. But still, so often what he says is on point, and the response from the media and from Hillary is that, oh, Bernie, that's socialist, or oh, Bernie, that's not the American way. While at the same time, Hillary and the media are defending the corporate fascist way, the militarism way, the big banker way. I gotta say this just because it needs to be said, Truth Seeker. Even though all the candidates are owned, Bernie Sanders, as a politician, has by far the best voting record. From the beginning, he's been against all the wars. Bank bailouts, he voted against. He rarely votes on the side of the big banks and big industry. This is the way our politicians need to vote, because the big banks, the big industry, they sell us out in a big way. Bernie Sanders, that said, I think the reason he's allowed to vote the way he does and remain in Congress is because it's all part of the show. They need a person like Bernie Sanders there for the awake Americans who need someone to have hope in. And that's Bernie Sanders' role in our big rigged political scheme. Anyhow, these headlines up here right now, these are from the most recent Republican debate. And if you saw the debate, there were 5 candidates: Ben Carson, John Kasich, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, and Donald Trump. And the camera was on the 3 who you see here in the headline. And it was mostly Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz teaming up on Donald Trump, saying he's a Republican disguise, he's more of a Democrat, he's more of a liberal. And, you know, this is all just part of the show. They even dress the people up for the part. Look at how Rubio and Cruz have on the red ties. Typically, red represents Republican. Trump's up there with the blue tie, typical for the Democrat Party. This is all just part of the show. In recent months, many people have brought up the fact that there's a Simpsons episode out there where Donald Trump is elected president. What they're not bringing up about that episode is that at the end of it, Donald Trump said to be the most disastrous president ever, so disastrous that the first woman is elected president, and that's Lisa Simpson in the cartoon. In regards to predictive programming, on the night of December 19th, there was a rare weekend Democratic debate. It happened while a UFC fight was going on where Donald Cerrone was getting knocked out by a fighter who shares Hillary Clinton's birthday. The fight lasted exactly 66 seconds. It was on a date with 66 numerology. The word woman has gematria of 66. I think this was foreshadowing what was to come. The New York football Giants also won that night. Think about New York and the Clinton.